Base coat only Tokotas are some of the easiest to design, but I find they can be difficult to make interesting looking. And that's not a big problem if you just want something really simple and easy to draw over and over, but sometimes you want something with a little more razzle-dazzle to it. None of the following tips will make them more difficult to draw, but they will make them more fun to look at in the long run. These tips can also apply to Tokotas with a few more markings, or things like albinos or piebald designs with like maximum piebald. Tip number 1 is picking the right shade for the base coat. Depending on what base coat color you are working with and what modifier genes, you will have to pick from different swatches, and since there's not going to be a lot of markings going on, you definitely want to pick a base color that you are happy with. I know some people, like with lilac for example, like the more purple versus blue, and depending on the look you're going for, that can impact the general vibe of it. Tip number 2 is to add nuances. I like to do these by starting with the entire coat, doing a little bit of a darker shade of the base coat from the top down, and then I go from the bottom up with a little bit lighter shade. I think it just makes it look a little more interesting, a little less flat. You can also do more pronounced nuances. I like to do them on the face, ears, sometimes the back, and on the feet. So a lot of the places where you'd see marked, you can do a little more noticeable nuances. Less nuanced nuances, if you will. I think it helps make the whole design just come alive a little bit. Tip number 3 is to include physical traits. You can use ones that just came on the Geno, or use the soul pool water to add some. On this particular design, she has floppy ears, cheek fur, and a curled tail, and that just makes the shape a little different from the standard lines. Tip number 4 is to do some custom line edits. You can do these to physical traits, like make your own set of floppy ears, or like what I did here, I added some eyelashes. It's pretty tame compared to what a lot of people do for line edits, but I think it just gives it a little sprinkle of something extra, visual jumping point from just the solid color. I had another tip about coloring the paw pads, claws, nose, that sort of thing. But honestly, that's something you need to do on every design. Everybody likes to do those differently. So I guess the tip is color them. The same goes for the eyes, although I have on occasion had some success with just using the eyes that come in the import. Tip number 5 is coloring the line art. I think it makes a huge difference. Like you can see here on this design, it's a very light base color with the black lines. It's got a lot of contrast and it's fine. But as soon as you color the lines, I think it just gives it a more smooth, kind of polished look. Tip number 6, and this is another one that goes for all designs, is the finishing touches of a halo if you so choose, and which import background you want to use. I oftentimes like to go with something that goes with the colors of the Tokota, and in this case, because she is only base coat, there's not a whole lot of variety to work with in picking something that either goes with her or makes her pop. And it ended up being that I thought the pasture background looked great on her.